I'm saying in the next 2 years, 2 of these are going to turn to $10 million.
Whether you want to jump to 2023, but I want to take you back first to the thing that you were kind of known for, which is ClickFunnels. So talk to our audience about when ClickFunnels were found, who's the grandfather of that, who you learned from, maybe like the benefits of it now, and also where you see it going. There's a lot of people that speculate that it's not going anywhere, and there's people that are still doing very, very well with it. So talk about your history with ClickFunnels.
Totally. So ClickFunnels, when people hear about ClickFunnels, it's very polarizing. They're like, they either think it's the biggest scam, or they think it's the best thing that was ever invented. And the people who think are the biggest scams are the people who just don't understand it. It's kind of like Bitcoin. It's, there's only 2 camps. Either you believe in it or you don't. It's the same thing. So if you find yourself there, and I found out is you cannot convince a skeptic. A skeptic is going to be a skeptic. I've been able to utilize ClickFunnels to basically make multi-million dollars across multiple different law firms. The foundation of it is when you have people that have a problem, how do you sign them up as a client? And that's what ClickFunnels is the middle piece of that. It helps you figure out how to optimize and how to increase your chance of actually you signing up as many clients as you possibly can for the lowest amount of money that you could spend. How to put that together is basically one of the aspects of our program, of my legal academy, basically how to put this together and make funnels work for generating clients for your law firm.
Yeah, we're going to talk more about your legal academy, but tell us a little bit about how you got into ClickFunnels, the process real quick. We don't want to do a big tutorial with it, just an overview, because you'd be surprised. We have a lot of listeners, and some of them, they don't know how to fall in any camp. They don't know what the hell it is, actually, believe it or not. They're too busy.
It's more of concepts that you apply to your law firm. Okay, so it's not a specific page or specific gimmicky video. It's a whole system. What's a system? The best way I could explain it is the first thing you want to do in the system is you want to get your leads' contact information. There's different ways to go about that, and this changes over time. It used to be ClickFunnels pages, but now these Facebook ads platforms and TikTok and Google have their own lead forms where you're able to capture leads right at the outset of your client generation. But that's the first thing. Second thing is you need to nurture your leads. You can't just expect people to just sign up with you. So if that's the case, you need to build some automations. There's 2 automations or 3 things that you want to do. One is automated emails. Second is automated text to get in contact with them right away. Third is a video. You need to have a series of emails or some form of videos where people, as soon as they become a lead, they hear from you so that they know this is something you do, so that you can build the trust and authority that you can help them down the line. The third part is that kind of combined with the second part is automations. You can make sure that that's set up. So as long as you capture the leads, you nurture them, and you have automations, and you build a system that you constantly refine over time, the best ad, the best funnel, best follow-ups, best automation, all that stuff that you refine over time, that's what basically gets you a 3 to 5% converting funnel. If you have something that basically, if you can sign up 3 to 5 out of 100 people that you come to your funnel, then essentially you're a multi 7-figure law firm.
And so a lot of these other channels are competing with that, right?
There are different channels that all have their own language that you basically have to know how to use those specific channels to make it work, to go attract those leads to your funnel.
So when you were doing this process at the time, because you're someone that continues to learn, and then what gave you the idea of the academy, and how did that morph into the academy?
So about 4.5 years ago, I basically met my mentor organically. I was basically one of the clients. Once I discovered that this works for myself, I basically went around LA pitching personal injury lawyers that I could do it for. And one of those clients eventually ended up being my mentor. And my mentor basically started, mentoring me, guiding me, giving me a big, broad vision of this is your skill. This is what you're best at. Let's go tackle this. And once I got that guidance and that direct feedback to constantly do this over and over, feedback, go do, feedback, go do, feedback, that's when I saw my growth pretty much quadruple almost every single year. And when I saw that myself, I'm like, wait a minute, this is something very powerful. What if I take this model of mentoring and tutoring and I do it in a group coaching kind of setting? And that has really panned out. So that means I was basically able to build a curriculum and a program from scratch. That basically the mission is, if we need to help hundreds and thousands of lawyers at the same time, how can we provide the community, the information, the check-ins, the accountability, everything that's like a multi-encompassing kind of program that could help lawyers increase their chance of actually being very successful with all these systems.
So do you mind telling me who your mentor was? Do you tell our guests who your mentor was?
Sure.
Give him or her credit?
Yeah, his name is Hamid Cohen, and his company's name is LegalSoft. One of the many things that he does is basically hiring virtual assistants for law firms.
That's pretty cool. And are you still together with him? Did you ever decide that you'd want to do business with him, or is it just your business or separate?
Definitely. Yeah, we're very engaged and talk daily, literally every single day for the past 4 years. And yeah, we do business together in different capacities.
Oh, that's cool. So tell us a little bit about the Legal Academy in more specifics, and how, if someone joins, you have segments, tell us what it would be like to join the Academy, please.
Sure. So our program is for lawyers and their teams. So it's not just like come learn, but also we can train your team for you. So if your team needs to get better and signing up clients, well, we have a whole intaker track. If your team needs to collect documents, well, here's the most efficient way to be able to collect documents, etc. Everything else you could possibly think about. The second kind of component that's kind of key is the community. You have a place where you're able to ask any question. Also, a lot of questions that you probably have already been asked before. So whenever something gets asked, we usually have resources. We have essentially Google Docs and Google Sheets for everything you could possibly imagine, which could easily be templatized. And we share that as an open resource for anything you could possibly think about: lead tracking, client tracking, math, anything possibly think about. So community, resources. Also, I've been able to build an in-house support and tech team. Those crucial parts of like lead automations and this and that, things that are kind of technical, we've been able to kind of take that off your hands and say, hey, just fill out this form. And then our team comes in and basically sets this up for you. Again, because I got the freedom to be able to build this from scratch, I just thought about like what will bring us the most results for our lawyers. And I basically went and kind of built that for our program.
So, as you know, you're in this space where there's a lot of different kind of competition. And what I notice is that there'll be questions asked of each of you, which I don't normally ask because it's just a waste actually. But the question that will be asked generally, and I'm not asking you actually, but I'm going to follow up the question is, how does yours compare to A, B, C, and D? And everyone is pitching their own deal. And in fact, what's most amusing to me is going to a conference and almost they're all there together. And then in fact, it's even more laughable that they hang out together. So it's kind of like you almost think there's a mastermind for all of the people out there that are doing this kind of coaching work. And but there is a difference between some of the programs, and some of it's substantive, and sometimes it's more about the personality. So if you notice, I'm not mentioning names of these different individuals, but they've exploded on the scene. Like you're basically new-ish, but not really, because you've been doing it long enough now where your Legal Academy is relatively new, but you've been in the space for a while, but there've been it's just still a new space. Like all of a sudden, remember the life coach thing where, they had life coaches and people were joking around like, what's a life coach? Doesn't mean anything. And now it's become a big industry. There's probably some really, really good life coaches. So you don't need to go to a therapist maybe as much anymore. The life coach looks ahead prospectively, not behind. And so now you have this legal life coaching. It's the whole market. I call it the legal life coach. I actually own deathcoach.com, by the way, and I just got rid of it. I was just trying to figure out what you'll probably buy it now. Just trying how to figure out what I can do with Death Coach, but man, you're probably gonna buy it. Shit, I should have said anything. But you understand, there's a lot of legal life coaches out there. So how would you compare your system to others without mentioning people, and why should people choose the Legal Academy versus another organization?
It's a great question. I'm super excited to answer this. Number one is a lot of these other marketing companies, the only practice that they have is marketing you. So when they show their case studies and things, it's usually look how much money we spend on Facebook ads. That's a whole different ballgame than generating clients in the legal field. It literally is a different language, different thing. Until you put your own money where your mouth is and you create your own systems to sign up clients, do the entire operation, you essentially are just doing it based on whatever YouTube video or books that you read. For us, mine is based on actual application that I've actually been able to do myself first for our law firms, across multiple law firms, When I go down through those variations and those problems and things, that's when I'm actually going through the problem solving and those little nuances that a lot of people are not dealing with. And when I troubleshoot those nuances, and that's when I finally go share it. Here's the actual application. When we hired multiple VAs, we can see that about 3 out of 5 of them are going to be amazing VAs. One of them should be the manager. 2 of them should go beyond the manager. And it's basically we're sharing Apple relevant application, basically. Second thing is I'm playing the long-term game. I'm blessed enough for my law firms to generate 10 times more than my legal academy. So my money is coming from that. I'm happy and content. And honestly, I don't even seek money, but it keeps me going. But my legal academy is a passion project where I'm like, this is ultimately, even if I retire and I have all the money in the world, what would I be doing? It's essentially this, because I love sharing. I love giving. I always had this inherent need and desire to want to share and give. And this is my way of giving back.
Yeah. So what's, oh, go ahead. Keep going. Sorry.
Yeah,
I don't want to,
sure.
I'm going to say something about you in a second, but go ahead. What's the third thing?
Third thing is everything that we do is based on being strategic and smart. Okay. That means we're laser pointing exactly what's going to give us the most results for the lowest amount of input. We're not trying to do everything. I don't push everybody to do videos. I also understand that everybody is built different. I don't give general advice. I give general principles that is applied to based on who you are, and also is very based on, again, a lot of thought going to the planning, 80% planning and 20% doing. So that when you finally do it, you're going to get the most results when you do it. So just to recap again, based on actual application of being a lawyer. Second, long-term kind of minded. And third, just being strategic with everything we do.
Yeah, I love the 80-20 principle. And my point to you before I really was interrupting you is that you do give a lot of information out that's free. As you know, I'm not a customer of yours, and have no real desire to pitch one person or the other. So I just kind of let our listeners know, really what's happening. And I do notice that you do give a lot of information out. I actually check out some of that information, and there's some things that I find very, very helpful. Others kind of, it's either something that's not helpful to me or not interested in, but I can tell you that you definitely put out a lot of information for people that's free, and actually information that's useful if they would take it upon themselves to use that information. And I know the principle of give, and ultimately that will come back, and a lot of people can't do stuff for themselves, and they'll ultimately come back to the people that give them stuff. But I feel like your stuff is given very generously, and you give a lot of good information out there, and actually it's great. But I will push you just a little bit. There are a lot of people that are in that space that they either are not lawyers, or they're lawyers that are hiding behind their marketing, and they're actually making more money in their marketing than they are in their firm, actually. And there have been some that have separated themselves by actually showing what they actually make. Now, you could probably, as a lawyer, gin that up, but you're going to get disbarred. So there have been some separators, because I think, some people look at all that overwhelming marketing and they believe like there's just no way that person could have that much income coming in. And so I think some of that has been dispelled by actual settlement checks that come across in the social media. They're not lying about the social check. They know that a lawyer, most bar complaints come from not clients, but lawyers. A lawyer can turn in another lawyer easily. So, the bar is very traditional, as you know, and you got to be very, very careful. When people start hating you is when you become a target. So, I think I'm referring to the legal-based marketers are out there, and there's a number of them. Have you ever considered being fully transparent with your books? Because I haven't seen that yet. I've seen globally general, here's a settlement check. And, if you show a $500,000 settlement check, it's not large enough where there would be disbelief, and it's not low enough where people are like not impressed. So people are figuring out, there's either like a $100,000 to $250,000 fee on that case. He's doing something right, or she's doing something right. How would you dispel that? Because I think there's more people coming in the space that are lawyers like you, and they would say, I'm a lawyer. Of course, I share your pain. I'm empathetic. I know what you're going through.
Sure. So one thing, a couple of different thoughts. One is it's very hard for me to share actual numbers. And the only reason why I do is because just marketing, I know that's what attracts people to it. But me, myself, do I want to personally? No. If anything, I'd rather keep it under wraps and just do what I do and just continue grinding forward. One thing that does help is these on the wall. These are actual things. In order for me to receive these, I have to basically record a Loom video of my bank account and my Stripe account to show these.
Hey, hope you're enjoying the video so far. If you're a lawyer and you're looking to work smart, scale fast, and enjoy life, right below this video, you'll find a link to book a call to speak to my team so we can tell you how we've been able to help over 500 law firm owners scale their law firm. Now back to the video.
Let's just talk about that because we're not doing a video of this. It's not going to be released. It's a podcast. We usually are in my studio and there's a video. So I want our listeners to know what's on the back of your wall. So please tell them that. Of course, yep.
So it's these plaques that ClickFunnels gives you for basically generating $1 million online with ClickFunnels. And usually whenever, before I would get them, I usually put it out there. I'm going to receive the TwoCommaClub award within the next year. At first I say it, I put it out there. Not only does it, usually it's for me to hold myself accountable to actually do it. So for every single one of these, I've done that. Before I ever received it, I'm going to say I'm a year away from receiving 2 more. So I've been able to do this 4 times over, be able to apply these systems and things that I do, and also teach to other lawyers how to generate $1 million online for 3 different law firms and 1 for my legal academy. That's very rinse and repeatable. Also, I'm also at the same time, I'm saying in the next 2 years, 2 of these are going to turn to $10 million. I know my trajectory. I know exactly how I'm doing and how much fast I'm growing. I promise you, within you get here, we do another recording in 2 years. 2 of these will be $10 million ones, plaques, and potentially a couple of them could essentially be $50 million. So, just practice what I preach, playing the long-term game. If anybody is dying to see it, sure, I have no problem jumping on a Zoom with you and showing it. But yeah, that's not honestly me personally. I'd rather not talk about money or anything like that. I'd rather just provide value and help our members as much as possible, and just focus on that.
So that transitions us a little bit into, you were talking a little bit about what your future holds as far as financially with the stuff back on the wall and showing how you provide credibility to people so they know that you're actually making money that you're saying you're making. Which is good because, some lawyers are just saying that without proof. Others are actually showing the proof is the pudding, which I think is admirable because they're at least able to show what they're doing in order to get cases. Because there are some out there in that space that are not at all, actually. So I don't know if it's...
Bill, let me just add one more thing too. Sure. I would not be able to do what I do inside of my legal academy unless if I had that actual practical application of everything that I share. There's a lot of stuff that I share about, here's what works about lead conversions and this and that. And that's when I do share, at that point, I do share my screen of my actual Google Sheets and things showing it. Look, 20,000 leads for this one particular law firm that I just started a year ago. And here's what I learned. So a lot of that is, I can't share it publicly, but it is shared a little bit more and revealed a little bit more inside our program.
Yep. And I think that's terrific.